This is LP Giobbi.
Listen up, children.
You are listening to Femme House Radio.
I said listen up, children.
On Diplo's Revolution, Sirius XM.
A wonderful night is made as much by the dancers as the music. Guided as much by the spirit of joy in the room as by the hand which reaches for the next record. Each of us has a role in tonight's experience. We all play in the band.
This is LP Giobbi, and I founded Femme House, a 501c3 foundation and educational platform that teaches the technical areas of music making for women, non-binary, trans, and other marginalized gender identities. Every week, I will be interviewing and spotlighting women in music while bringing you the best dance tunes from around the world. Our next guest on Femme House Radio is South London-born, Brighton-based artist Bklava, who is a singer, writer, producer, and DJ. She was listed as Amazon's Ones to Watch and Danny Howard's Future Fire 2021, and is signed to one of the most tastemaker labels out there, Ministry of Sound. I first discovered her through her remix of Diplo and Sonny Federo's Turn Back Time, which is an absolute smash. Bklava, it is an honor to have you.
It's an honor to be here. Hello.
What is your origin story? How did you get up to this point of lockdown?
So I'm first and foremost a singer, and I've been singing all my life, literally since I was, I don't know, since when I could talk. And my idea was to always do something that involved singing. I mean, I was really into musical theatre as well, so it was literally like anything that I could, go on stage, perform. That's me. I'm set. That's all I want to do. And then when I was like 9 or 10, I started writing, like really crappy songs. When I was really young.
Wait, that is amazing. 9 or 10, you were writing songs?
Yeah, my first song was called Good Friends. I don't remember how it goes, but
Wait, you have to pull it out of the archives. You have to find that. That sounds like it's a bop.
I know. I've got to find it somewhere, but I remember the title at least. But yeah, and I hadn't really gotten into dance music until like mid-teens, late teens, and I've always loved dance as on a commercial basis, but I'd never really delved into the world until I was about 15, 16. And it was when I went to college, and I had loads of friends that had a big, big taste in music and styles, and they were all really into house music, and dubstep was kind of growing here as well, in South London, where I'm originally from, and then kind of it all just spurred from there, and I started taking up DJing when I was 19. And all my friends around me were taking it up. I'd had an interest in DJing before that, but never really got the courage to sort of start. And also, I had limitations as well. Like, I actually had an ex that was a DJ, when I was 16, and who just never let me on the decks, which was just such an issue.
Classic.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Wouldn't let me shine.
Totally.
And
Still the amount of guys who step into the DJ booth when I'm DJing and change, crank up the booth or change the highs and the mids. I'm like, bro, I'm fine. You don't need to. Yeah.
Why? Why do they do that? Why do they feel the need? Such an issue. And when I did get to that point where I went to university, and I was 18, actually 19 when I went, and all my friends were taking it up. Well, not all my friends, but I had a couple of friends, and some of them got decks, and then I literally would just go around to their place and ask to have a go. They'd teach me a few tricks, and then I ended up getting some CDJ. I got a little controller, and then I got some CDJ 1000s that only took CDs. So I was playing CDs for ages.
That is amazing. I think I started using CDs as well, way back in the day. Yeah, that is a trip to think about, right? How much harder is that?
So much harder. And honestly, even when I did switch to USB, I kept my CDs because I was like, oh, you never know. But now I don't. I don't bother.
Built that collection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, and so, didn't you get a residency somewhere? Very cool. Where was that?
Yeah, I had a residency I have one in Patterns in Brighton, and I the only other residency that I had, it was like a temporary one that I had in Camden Assembly in London. It was a couple years back now. But I've been playing at Patterns in Brighton. Yeah, since the beginning, really, since 2017. So
okay,
yeah.
how long are your, because I just was talking to a producer, Will Clark, about this, because he's in the UK, and like the difference between the sets over in the UK versus in the US, where it's like mostly you have like an hour and you just sort of like go to the club and you like bang it out, you know? How long were your sets at in your residency at Patterns?
Yeah, it was an hour. Like it was
you only played for an hour?
Yeah. It was never any longer than that. I mean, I've played longer sets, but my residency, it was. I think I did like.
Wait, actually, that's so funny because I have this like idea in my head. Obviously, it's so wrong that like everybody in the UK plays like 4 to 8 hour sets and like takes everybody on a journey, and it's like that's so funny. I just like assumed that was like that's how it went over there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, I mean, when I was doing like smaller gigs at other venues, I've definitely done a 5-hour set before. Right at the beginning, when I definitely thought that I didn't have enough music, I didn't know what I was doing, but I pulled out the other side. It was okay. I think I definitely feel more comfortable doing that now. But yeah, 5 or 6 hours. I'm always impressed for anyone that can do that. It's a long time.
Oh, that makes me feel so much better that's like, I just kind of thought anybody who's DJ over in the UK is like a better DJ than all Americans. So actually, which like maybe is true anyways, but it's amazing.
Hey.
Wait, so tell me about, okay, I called all of my, last night, I called all of my British friends to be like, okay, I'm not, how do you say this word? So it's garage, right? Like, garage.
Yes. Yeah.
But is that because you guys say garage as garage and we're supposed to say it in the US as garage, or should I say it as garage?
No, this is funny because I always say garage as a joke, but it is garage. Like, so whenever Brits try and explain it to Americans, we always spell it out like GAR and then IDGE so that they know it's like, it's garage.
Shut
but yeah,
up,
it's
funny.
Yeah, so
so it's not like, but like how do you guys say, like where you park your car? How do you guys say that?
Garage. Yeah, take the car to the garage.
Okay, so they're both garage. Okay, so even though we say garage as the thing you park your car, we still shouldn't call it garage as the genre.
But I'm not. As a genre, garage definitely. But taking your car to the garage, that's fancy. I like garage. That's why I like saying garage as a joke because it sounds fancy.
Because where is the origin of that? Do you know where the name of that genre comes from?
So
why is it called garage?
It's I don't actually. Oh, I should actually know that. I've watched so many documentaries and read so many books on garage, but I know that the origins are very much rooted in South London. It's sort of a bit of a mix, but it's definitely originated in the South. And there are roots. There are roots of US garage as well. That kind of came in a similar time where it was that kind of crossover from house. Chicago house going into garage as well. So yeah, there's so many different origin stories, but I mean for the UK specifically, South London is kind of where it was all at in like the 90s.
Because what you do is called garage house. Is that like the genre you would, if you had to put yourself in a genre, which I know is an annoying question, but is that what you would say?
No, it's fine. I mean, I can't lie. I really hate putting myself in a box, but right now, I think where my tastes are, I'd say in my sets especially, I'd put myself definitely as garage house, and I think the styles of music I make, especially now with more music that I have coming out this year, it's definitely more broad. But if I had to choose like one, it would probably be garage house. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I hate that I get it. It's like, I always say like, I guess piano house, but it's like, what does that even mean? I don't even know. Like sometimes there's a piano and it's like the most broad I could possibly be. So I saw that Todd Edwards did a remix for you.
Yes.
Have you had the chance, how did that happen? Have you had the chance? So Todd is a dear, dear, dear friend of mine. He's actually probably the first person where I learned what garage was. So, how have you gotten to meet him? Because he is actually the nicest human being on the actual planet.
Oh, I would love to meet him. Honestly, I mean, like, just from meeting him online, he's out, like, you know, he's amazing. Like, he did such a good job on the remix, and I've been a fan of Todd's for, you know, for years, and he's a pioneer of garage for sure, you know. And I think actually Todd Edwards is probably a reason why a lot of Brits who are really like strong on UK garage kind of actually was like, actually US garage really has something and actually has really strong roots. And I think Todd is quite a big part of why that was the case from, you know, from the 90s until now. And yeah, I was just blown away that he even wanted to do my remix, and he, you know, was talking about how he loved my vocals, and I was just like, oh, I love you, like you're great, you're so talented. And yeah, I'm just a big fan of his production. You know, you can just tell it's his production from any song he's done.
Yeah,
like,
he totally has
style.
a sound.
Yeah, he's got his own thing going on. No one's really got that kind of style. So yeah, he's great. He's wicked.
Okay, so I can't wait for you guys to meet in real life, because he is, I mean, it's like at first when I met him, I was like, nobody's this nice. Like, this can't actually be. But he is actually he is such a beautiful soul. Oh, so I got so excited when I was you know, digging through your Spotify and listening to your tracks and like taking it all in. And I like when I saw Todd Edwards' name, I was like, yes, oh, that's so cool. And also it makes total sense. The remix works so well, and I loved it. So it was very cool.
Good. Yeah.
Okay,
so I just recently. Sorry.
No, you go. You go.
Oh no, I was gonna say he like posted something on his Facebook recently. He was like thanking Annie Mac here for playing his track on Radio 1, and it just made me laugh because he did this like little like comedy sketch with himself, and he like recorded like two versions of himself like talking to each other, and his other version was telling him to shut up, like he wasn't funny, and the other version was like, hey, leave me alone. And I had to comment. I was like, I really enjoyed this. Like, I watched the whole thing and I was so invested. Like, she made me want to meet him even more.
What's so funny? Like, when you like that is such an honest depiction of his brain, and like he'll like literally you'll sit to dinner with him and he'll be like, here's everything that I'm thinking that I don't like that I'm thinking about, and he's just so honest. It makes you like you have to be honest back with him. It's so refreshing and so awesome.
So good.
Oh, I love him. Okay, so do you ever work with other singers on your tracks, or is it, I mean, obviously you are a singer, so are you always the singer on your music, or do you ever feel like in order to like really solidify the producer role, you work with other singers, or like how does that work for you?
So far it's literally just been me. I've written all my songs as well, so I haven't had any like writing sessions yet that have involved other people. But that's something this year that I'm kind of delving more into, and you know, potentially, you know, writing for others as well and other people's music. But I think I really like that I write my own stuff and I sing everything myself. And I've always been a fan of like other people that kind of, I don't know, people that kind of fit into that whole like one woman show category and, you know, do everything themselves. I'm a big fan of that. So I'd like to keep doing that as much as possible.
So really, cool. I mean, okay, just to keep out for a minute, your reverse vocal chop thing in Hot Shot, whatever's going on in the very intro and like kind of chorus here, it's so good. Is that just a reverse vocal that you're doing?
Yeah, so that was actually Icarus that produced that. They're a duo, they're based in Bristol, and honestly, like, they just worked their magic on that song. I mean, I always change what song of mine is my favorite, but that's held like a strong number one for a while for me.
I love that. Okay, so do you ever sing on other people's tracks, or you know, are you the top line for other producers ever?
Not yet, but this year definitely that will be coming. So yeah,
because your voice is so cool.
Oh, thank you.
I saw on your Instagram when you were covering like that old, I don't know the name of the song, but it was just like you singing like karaoke style. And it was like very like, your voice was just like so unique and soulful.
Oh, thank you. It might have been a Jill Scott song. I feel like I sing a lot of Jill Scott, so she's great.
So rad. Yeah, and then do you also produce, you produce your own tracks as well, right?
I do. I mean, everything that I've released for my own stuff so far has either been co-produced or produced by somebody else. And all my remixes are 100% my production. And I think, I would still class myself as quite early to production. So I'm definitely giving myself more time before I feel like I'm in a place where I can just do it all. And, I really enjoy working with other people. So even if I ever got to that point, I'd still like to keep it sort of mixed. And, I'd like, in the future, I want an album. And if I get to that album, it will definitely be a mix of, 100% everything is me and stuff that I've worked with other people and, just
totally.
Collabs and me. So yeah,
I
I'm
love that.
Really.
I mean, especially when you're like, as a dance producer, you're like sitting in a studio, potentially with no windows sometimes, all by yourself, working on a song. I think like for me, if I didn't have somebody else's ears to bounce something off of, I think I would go absolutely crazy. So like finding collaborators that you really trust, I think is so important. So I think that's awesome that you've done that. Congrats. Is this something that you actively like, are you working on your production? Like, is this something that you practice at, or like, have you like set, I'm trying to find the balance of like, when do I practice, sort of like new ideas, making new things, and like, versus like the things I have to get done, like trying to find the balance in the space to just like explore. How do you do that? How do you approach that?
I mean, practice is definitely, I find really hard for production. I think when I've got a project, it kind of just, it drives me to do my practice. But obviously you need to be able to practice. I needed to have been able to practice to get to that point. So I'm not gonna lie, I've been dabbling in production for years. I got Logic when I was 19, and I just started off, dragging in loops and then singing over those and trying to make it sound good. I think my first ever project I did though, like I'm such a fan of it. Like I'm gonna get it up one day and do something with it. But I was proud of myself.
Said nobody ever. One of my first projects I love. True. Oh my God. If anybody ever heard my first project, I would die. So that is very impressive.
Honestly, I mean, the EQing was so off. Like it's bad quality, but I love like what I've written, like lyrics and vocally, like it works. So yeah, I mean, after that it went all downhill, and then I don't know what happened. I just took I kept trying to get into it, and I kept taking big breaks, and I think I was just not very confident with it. And again, like that same time I was learning to DJ, all my friends were also that were DJing, were learning to produce, and I don't know why. I felt really afraid to ask them questions and get their help. I did from time to time, but I definitely should have used them a whole lot more. And I think I might be in a different place now if I had done that then. But I'm happy now that I'm in a place where I'm happy to ask questions. I'm really happy to learn on my own and just kind of do what I'm supposed to be doing now. So it all comes at the right time, I guess.
Awesome. I started a nonprofit called Femme that teaches women how to produce music, because like for the exact same reason that I always felt like, again, now I'm in a place where I'm in a session with another dude producer or whatever, and I'm like, okay, wait, why did you just do that? And because that's how we learn. That's how everybody learns, no matter what your gender is, But it is it can be kind of intimidating, scary at first, and so like to be in a situation with a bunch of other people at your same level, learning and getting asked questions is, I see the value of that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. No, I completely. When did you actually start Femme House?
I started it in 2019. In May of 2019, I think. And then actually the lockdown was, again, the silver lining is that we moved online, which allowed so many more people to partake. And so it was actually, it's been wild. Our last session we had to, unfortunately, Zoom only allows 300 people if you have the business plan. So we had to cap it at 300. But we had that many people, in the session learning how to make a DJ mix. So we use Ableton.
Great.
But I feel like a lot of people who use Logic are kind of like, wait, what? So maybe we'll expand to Logic one day. But Ableton's been the company's been such a big supporter and gives out licenses to the girls who take it and stuff. So it's kind of we've kind of stuck with them. And also that's where I started learning. Actually, I started in Pro Tools, which is like feels like a dinosaur DAW now, but eventually made my way to
it's still well used. It's still well used.
It's still the studio standard, which blows my mind.
It is. Yeah.
It's fucking, really, and everybody's like, oh, the live audio, recording is better. I'm like, nobody can tell. I mean, my ear can't tell. I read that your dad is a musician.
Yes. So yeah.
What was that like growing up with that?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably part of the reason that I got into music anyway in the first place. I mean, he he really likes country music, and
Whoa.
yeah, I know, and he plays guitar, writes his own music, and sings as well. So yeah, he actually pushed me to get singing lessons and guitar lessons when I was younger, and yeah, I guess he sort of like inspired all that really. So yeah.
What do they think of the music you're making now? Do they understand dance music, or what do they think of it?
They actually that my mom is less into music. I think she's just kind of she likes what's on the radio, and she really likes Shakira, and that's like the extent of like her musical knowledge. But she's always up for learning, and I'm always like up for showing her music. But she's definitely I'd say more recently they've come to like my music. I think if it's more easy listening, they like it. If anything a bit heavier, they kind of like shy away from. I think Fired Up scared them a bit, but but
Oh, I've had some songs that have freaked my parents out. I totally get it. That's so funny. That's hilarious.
I was a massive emo when I was 14 and 15, and I was really into heavy metal and post-hardcore, and I think they're just happy that I'm not making that. So not to say that I might not bring that into my music one day, because that shit still influences
cool.
me.
I was gonna say, I think it'd be cool if you and your dad did a collab, like a country, garage house vibe.
Yeah.
What? That could be so cool.
He would love to do something with
I used to be in a weird electronic like synth experimental art band, if you will.
Yeah.
And my mom, I just from the other day, my mom sent me a text and was like, I had just done like a set on Insomniac that she could, watch. It was a streaming set, so she could watch it. And after she watched it, she texted me and was like, I just want to say that although I've loved all the kinds of music you've done, I really like this kind of music that you're doing now.
Oh, that's so nice.
I was like, it's okay. I know you. I know you weren't a huge fan of the band. Yeah, it is. It feels honestly, it feels good to have the validation, even if I know they don't get it at all. I'm still like, please validate what I'm doing.
For sure. No, it's so true.
Oh,
so
man.
true.
And you sing over, like, when you're DJing, you do live vocals. Is that right?
Yes. I started doing that from like 2019, and I'd say now it's definitely more of a foundation. It's like just always what I'll do in my set now. So yeah, I guess that's my trademark now. And I mean, that's what I've always wanted. I think why I didn't see DJing as a career was because I love singing too much, and I was like, no, like I need to be singing. So it made so much sense to now, do both, because I love both. So yeah, it just makes so much sense.
I love that. I had so I play the piano when I DJ. Because my background is like jazz piano, and I always remember thinking like just like getting up there and standing and like mixing in two tracks, like, is this gonna be my life, And then I had a friend, Tucker from Sophie Tucker, was like, well, why don't you can like wrap the keyboard into like the last channel of the mixer, and then like you could just be able to like play over the tracks, and like that's when I was like, I can do this all the time, I can do this every day. I totally get that moment. So cool. And
it's so impressive.
Do you totally? It also it's another level of engagement for people who are watching, which is always fun. Do you have like a vocal box where you have effects on your microphone, or do you run the microphone through the mixer? Or what is your setup like?
So I started. I've always been doing it through the mixer, and then I did get a vocal box last year, which wasn't really working out for me. It was I'd like started really like low grade, and now I'm like investing in a much more expensive box that's kind of meets all my needs. So I'm testing it out soon, so I'm really excited. It's like TC Helicon. So that's probably going to be like an instant purchase for me. And then I'm looking to have that set up as soon as I've got all my live sets for this year, hopefully.
Tell me how the Diplo Sonny Fodera remix came to be. So you got the stems, you opened your session, and now walk us through how you decided to approach this one.
Oh my gosh, it was just I always get really excited when a project comes through and I can just hear the idea instantly, and I don't have to sit and think about it. It's just I'm ready. Like I just want to get going and get all my ideas down. And I know that I just wanted to make a very euphoric sounding track, that had sort of very dreamy tones and still had like a very uplifting dance feel to it, but also felt like you could just close your eyes and like be transported somewhere else. And yeah, I had to make sure that I had that feeling when I was creating it, recreating the song. And yeah, that's kind of like how it all came together, really. I just had that one theme and that one idea, and I wanted that sound to, come out the other side, and it did. I think for me anyway.
Absolutely. Well, you are crushing the remix game. I also love your remix for James Vincent McMorrow. What are the differences for you when you're approaching a remix versus making an original track?
I think with an original track, I'll always approach it very differently to how I do with the remix, because it kind of normally starts with the lyrics and the melody with my vocals. So with a remix, that's already there. So I'm definitely working backwards. But I really like both ways of working. There's no preference for me, and I really like that I can try out another way, and I'm not kind of stuck in my ways and always working one way or another. I'm kind of working in as many different ways as I can that will work in any scenario. If I was to work with other people, I can be like, yeah, I've done that before. Like, let's do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it works.
Very cool. Well, so what I love about you is that in your music, you can just as equally hear the influences of Amy Winehouse as you can Maya Jane Coles.
Yeah.
Your vocals sound like a real soul song, and your beats sound like a true house head. Did you get into one genre before the other, or have you always been a fan of both styles of music?
Yeah, I mean, I've been singing for as long as I can remember, and so my main influences growing up were always I listened to a lot of pop music when I was very young, and I was like really into like Christina Aguilera and Celine Dion and all that. And then when I started actually when I was like 10 plus, I was like, okay, let's listen to some other music. And I was very much into, I don't know, like cheesy boy bands, girl bands at that time. Like I loved Busted. And then kind of when I was in my early teens, I was a massive fan of Amy Winehouse. I got really into soul music, R&B, disco. I've always loved, and I got into heavy metal, post-hardcore, and the style of music and the genres I've been into has it's so wide. Like I love a lot of music, and yeah, dance has always been in my life. My parents, my dad's Irish, my mum's Lebanese, so they would listen to music from their countries, and that was always, music that I would listen to naturally as well when I was, from when I was a toddler upwards. And dance music, I just was investing my time into religiously when I was 16 onwards, and also listening to a lot of neo soul as well. So yeah, I like it all.
You have perfectly combined them. Yeah, and I can hear that in your songs. They're clearly dance songs, but they have such a round influence from other genres and other music. Sure. And it's really you put it together perfectly. So tell us about Spin Sugar.
Yes, so Spin Sugar is a collective and a network of female and female identifying persons who we came together. I mean, I actually set it up when I was doing my dissertation at university, and it was when I was kind of maybe a year after learning how to DJ, and I was very fresh, and I didn't really see a lot of female representation at the time, and I just wanted an opportunity to network with other people and discover the wider world of female DJs and producers, and I didn't feel like I had that at the time. So this was kind of the start of that, and I was pleasantly surprised to see how many people reached out and how many people there actually were. And my argument at the time of like, oh, maybe there's just not that many out there, was just completely blown out the window. It was like, no, they're everywhere. There's just no representation. So yeah, the focus was to very much just bring the light to representation. That it's essential, and I think people will understand over time that it's they're there. The numbers are there. They've always been there. It's just, it's just shining a light on that more. And it's been great. Yes, it's been really nice.
I absolutely love that. I think Femme House loves Spin Sugar. There's a lot of synergy there, and it is so cool to see that you went out there and put that together and made a community. And however I can support that and we can support that, I love what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been great. I just can't wait to, help it grow when everything's back to a new normal. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on Femme House Radio. I'm a huge fan of yours. I absolutely adore you. And tell us what we have to look forward to in the second half of your mix.
Oh my gosh, just expect party vibes all around. Something you can listen to at home, dance to, in your bedroom, your kitchen, in the garden, whatever. Something that works for everybody.
It. Absolutely. I love it. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is LP Giobbi.
Listen up, children.
You are listening to Femme House Radio.
I said listen up, children.
On Diplo's Revolution, Sirius XM.
A wonderful night is made as much by the dancers as the music. Guided as much by the spirit of joy in the room as by the hand which reaches for the next record. Each of us has a role in tonight's experience. We all play in the band.
This is LP Giobbi, and I founded Femme House, a 501c3 foundation and educational platform that teaches the technical areas of music making for women, non-binary, trans, and other marginalized gender identities. Every week, I will be interviewing and spotlighting women in music while bringing you the best dance tunes from around the world.